President Donald Trump catapulted his agenda for the year ahead in his first State of the Union speech. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rebecca Ribley.
And I'm Phil Aldrich. We have you covered this evening with team coverage. Newsline 9's Courtney Trelecky. She has reaction from local lawmakers on the president's address. But first, ABC's Lana Zach is in the nation's capital. She breaks down what President Trump had in store for America. Lana, what did the president say and how was he received?
Good evening. The economy dominated much of the president's remarks tonight, but he also discussed threats to national security, including North Korea and terrorism, and made the announcement that he may in fact be keeping open the detention facility at Guantanamo Bay.
The state of our union is strong because our people are strong.
In his first State of the Union address, President Trump focused on the economy and his signature legislative victory, tax reform.
This, in fact, is our new American moment. There has never been a better time to start living the American dream.
The White House promised an uplifting, unifying speech from President Trump.
I call upon all of us to set aside our differences, to seek out common ground, and to summon the unity we need to deliver for the people.
But some on the left expressed skepticism at the president's calls for unity.
This administration isn't just targeting the laws that protect us. They're targeting the very idea that we are all worthy of protection.
Several Democrats boycotted this speech. Others wore African textiles in protest of the president's controversial comments about immigrants from Africa. And many female Democrats wore black and Reese stickers in solidarity with the Me Too movement. But bipartisanship will be needed to pass a new infrastructure bill and immigration reform.
This vital reform is necessary not just for our economy, but for our security and for the future of America.
And Congress has only a week and a half to come to a consensus on the fate of DACA before time runs out on the current continuing resolution to fund the government.
And if applause was any indication tonight, the president faces an uphill battle and some strict opposition from many Democrats in the chamber, as well as some Republicans to several of his proposals, including immigration reform. Reporting live from the Capitol, Lana Zach, ABC News. Back to you.
Now, Wisconsin lawmakers, they were in their seats on Capitol Hill tonight for the address.
So did the president hit the mark tonight? Well, that depends on who you ask. Newsline 9's Courtney Trelecky spoke with Wisconsin legislators. She joins us in the newsroom with their reaction.
Well, Phil, Rebecca, the president wanted this to be a unifying speech, and lawmakers disagree on whether that happened. President Trump spoke on immigration and Dreamers, something that has largely divided people and politicians. Local Republicans say they feel like the president has a good plan for that in place that speaks to both sides of the issue. Representative Sean Duffy says he agrees with the president that the State of the Union is strong.
I thought the president gave an outstanding speech. He laid out a roaring economy where unemployment is down, opportunity is up, wages are up, bonuses are happening. And I mean, I think that kind of economic growth that comes from limited government and lower regulation and lower taxes.
However, Representative Ron Kind isn't as optimistic about where the country stands.
The state of our union is not healthy. In fact, it's sick right now. There are deep divides across our country, with far too many people retreating to their partisan corners. But it doesn't have to be this way.
He went on to say that he hopes common ground can be found when it comes to infrastructure, the opioid epidemic, among other things. And infrastructure was a big issue both Democrats and Republicans were hoping to hear more about. In the newsroom, Courtney Trelecky, Newsline 9.
Thank you, Courtney. Meteorologist Tony Schumacher is going to join us. Tony, we've got a little bit of snow around dinner time tonight.
Yeah, we had that little burst early on, and we'll probably see another round like that a little bit later tonight. Let's take a look here first of all, and you'll see that we're dealing with cloudy skies here from Granite Peak. Still can see quite a ways off to the north there. And as we move to Marshfield, actually the western sky cam, you can also see things are pretty quiet over that way. So the snow we had has now moved over into Lake Michigan, basically, with a few snow showers possible yet up around Price and Vilas County over the next little bit. And then there's some more snow developing back in South Dakota and Minnesota. That'll be here a little bit after midnight. Current temperatures are running now in the low 20s, so we're actually starting to warm up, and that'll be the case throughout the night with that gusty south wind, which is around 15 miles per hour in some cases. for tonight. Temperatures getting it back to the mid-20s after 2 o'clock in the morning. That band of snow coming through around 1 o'clock in the morning to about 4 o'clock in the morning could bring us another inch or so, especially in the north half of the area. I'll be tracking that in Maine weather.
Okay, thanks, Tony. Students and staff across Wisconsin are accusing UW teachers of sexual harassment.
Since 2014, 56 sexual harassment complaints have been filed at UW campuses, according to system officials. UW Stevens Point accounted for 3 of those complaints. The school's Human Resources Office says no details about the cases can be released, but all 3 UW-SP cases were between staff members and no students were involved.
We have an extremely strong commitment from the chancellor and the leadership to provide a safe and supportive learning environment for our students. We want the number of incidents that we have to be 0.
UW-SP leaders say they have seen a rise in sexual harassment reports, likely because more people are aware of the issue.
A Marshfield man is behind bars accused of sexually assaulting a 6-month-old boy and taking pictures of a girl to trade through an online porn network. Prosecutors charged Mark Bartz yesterday with sexually assaulting the boy 3 times while babysitting him and a 2-year-old girl at a Spencer home. The 48-year-old told FBI investigators he took pictures of the girl but did not have sexual contact with her. He's to trade those pictures with other people online.
3 people are dead and 2 hurt after a helicopter crashed into a house in California. It happened in Newport Beach. Officials say there were 4 people in the helicopter, 1 person on the ground. He was hit with debris from the crash. A neighbor says the people who lived in the home were in a back room and not hurt when the helicopter hit. Investigators aren't sure what caused the crash.
The worker who sent out that false missile alert in Hawaii has been fired, and now we're learning he has had some past issues. The FCC revealed today that the employee thought that the attack was imminent. The state had been doing a drill testing alert capabilities. The employee thought it was real and sent an alert without approval. Officials say he has confused that drill with reality in the past.
Employee 1 said he didn't know it was an exercise, even though 5 others that were in the warning point room at that time heard exercise, exercise, exercise.
Co-workers say the man just sat there and seemed confused as others tried to let the public know it was a false alarm. Following the investigation, the emergency administrator has resigned, a 2nd worker has quit, and another is being suspended.
The story of a Marathon County shooting victim reaches ears in the state capitol.
Sarah's Law was presented to an assembly committee today. The bill was inspired by Wausau attorney Sarah Courtsand, who was killed by the rampage shooter on March 22nd. The legislation would make it a felony to threaten lawyers who often deal with emotional cases.
Doesn't bring Sarah back, but you know, if it can prevent something like this happening again, and maybe going forward to other states to help other attorneys, that would be wonderful.
The Assembly Committee will meet again later this week to determine whether the bill will go to the full floor.
A Central Wisconsin middle school has a very unique approach to teaching mathematics.
No frustration here. They've actually made math fun. Making the grade Genius Hour is next.
All been there, struggling in a math class to understand when and how we possibly use the equations we just learned in real life.
Yeah, and tonight's Making the Grade, one school in India is trying to take away that frustration by letting kids unleash their genius.
I chose Olympic women's gymnastics. Well water versus other water.
The topics go on and on.
I did the fastest things in sports.
But the idea of learning how math works into our everyday lives stays the same.
This is beyond fun.
It's called Genius Hour.
I like the freedom that comes with it.
Students use this time to research things that they're interested in.
Now go down to
At the beginning of the year, 7th graders at Wisconsin Rapids Area Middle School are tasked with the project.
Most often they're topics they otherwise wouldn't get to study in school. Then they create presentations to share with their classmates and teach everybody about what they've learned.
For student Elijah Shale, picking a topic was easy.
Then they create presentations to share with their classmates and teach everybody about what they've learned.
For student Elijah Shale, picking a topic was easy.
To do my project on eBay, just because I thought it'd be kind of fun.
Now comes the hard part. Where do you find math in online shopping?
I researched stuff like how much money eBay makes every day, how many things are sold every day.
Is there anything that you learned that you were surprised about?
I learned that the most expensive thing sold on eBay was a baseball card.
For how much?
It was 1.5 million.
And once the research is done and perfected, the kids get to present.
The Seahawks started out not good. Their first season was 2-12.
It's called Genius Hour for a reason. When you give kids a chance to explore topics and interests that they have, that's how what it does is it develops their genius in them. They're communicating and learning how math is connected to the world.
It's like learning in your own way that you can understand.
Getting kids excited about math? Wisconsin Rapids Middle School is making the grade.
It's learning for the pure learning.
I just thought that was so neat. When I stopped by, the kids were excited. It was fun.
Everybody was smiling.
Yeah.
Nobody was smiling in my 12th grade calculus class, Rebecca.
Yeah, you know, that is really difficult. I remember those days sitting there like rubbing my temples. How could I possibly use this? Well, Genius Hour has been around for years now. Even companies like Google use it to get their creative juices pumping. So this is a real thing.
Mr. Weissman,
yeah?
12th grade calculus.
Still remember.
Man, I am today. Yes.
You have a better memory than I do. Hey, if you have any ideas for Making the Grade, just send them my way. Making the Grade at WAOW.com.
I like that eBay angle. Tony's next with your future track forecast as we look out at Granite Peak in Rib Mountain. Stay with us.
Now, your Storm Track 9 forecast.
Check this out. A snow owl just hanging out at the airport in Portland, Maine. Getting a lot of attention. People stopped, whipped out their cameras, and got a shot of the Tito alba sitting near the runway of the airport. Look at him.
See?
Not moving a muscle.
You don't need to pay to go to the zoo. You can see an owl right there at the airport.
Pretty fun, right, Tony?
I actually see those snow owls by my house the last month or so off and
Take
on.
some pictures. I'd love to see
sure.
them.
I've got
Tony,
some.
whip out your phone and take some pictures, man.
I don't have my phone on me, Rebecca, but
Oh, come on. Don't call me.
Come on, Tony. You should see her. She's texting every chance she gets. All right. Well, let's get into the weather. We do have some cold weather coming. And let's take a kind of a recap of how we've done so far this winter. With sub-zero temperatures, we have had 18 days so far this winter where the temperature has dropped below zero. So that's quite a few. Normally we get about 29 for the winter season around here. And it looks like we could come close to that by mid-month in February because I see 10 more days in the next few weeks where we should drop below zero. So it's definitely going to be cold out there. Hopefully your fireplaces and your warm blankets are in hand. 10 more days in the next few weeks where we should drop below zero. So it's definitely going to be cold out there. Hopefully your fireplaces and your warm blankets are in hand. Tomorrow we get one more mild day in the 30s, down to the single digits come Thursday and Friday, back up to 15 Saturday, but also much colder weather building in Sunday in the U.S., especially the northern and northeastern half of the nation. So we'll keep a close eye on that. As far as the snow goes, it looks like we could see another round coming in overnight. But it could deposit another inch or so across the north half of the region, bringing storm totals since this afternoon, maybe up to 2 inches or so, probably under an inch, though, as you get south. So a little bit of that snow is trying to redevelop right now back in Price, Oneida, and Vilas County area, back up in Iron County. But there's more where that came from back out here in Minnesota. Actually, a little rain mixing with that where it's been warmer. I think by the time it gets over our area late tonight, it'll be primarily snow. Today we topped out at 22 evening temperature now. 3 below zero this morning at the Wausau Airport, but we had some spots down to 17 below out around Phillips this morning, and the snowfall about 3/10 of an hour. There you can see a nice quiet view in Weston tonight. The temperature 22 degrees, feels like 10 though because of that gusty south to southeast wind at 13 miles per hour. And throughout Wisconsin, temperatures vary from 30 in Milwaukee and 31 in La Crosse to around 20 degrees across portions of north central Wisconsin. Future track is showing the little band of sting after midnight right over the top of us. Should be out of here by 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, but the road still could be slippery, so allow a few extra travel minutes tomorrow morning. Turning sunny and breezy through the day. Here comes another cold front. That's the one that's going to have those nasty wind chills with it tomorrow night into Thursday morning. Could have some wind chills around 25 below zero, but at least we'll see a little sunshine peeking out through the day on Thursday. Tonight's forecast, a period of snow developing again, breezy with temperatures around 20, but actually climbing to the mid-20s throughout the night. Southeast wind turning to the southwest. Tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds, high of 33. Still breezy with a west wind between 10 and 20 miles per hour. 20s throughout the night. Southeast wind turning to the southwest. Tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds, high of 33. Still breezy with a west wind between 10 and 20 miles per hour. For a high of 30 in Phillips, about 32 in Antigo tomorrow. We'll top out around 34 in Stevens Point and all the way up to 37 in Wisconsin Dells. The 7-day forecast isn't real stormy, at least, but it is quite cold. High only in the single digits Thursday and Friday. Could be as cold as 10 below zero by Friday morning. And affect snow showers in the north Thursday. Another chance of snow throughout the area Friday night and Saturday morning. Right now that looks like possibly a 1 to 3 inch type event. And then behind that, a rising shot of bitter air for Sunday and Monday. Sunshine out there. At night, though, it could be as cold as 12 below zero.
Yikes. Okay. Thanks so much, Tony. This year's flu season is of the deadliest.
We find out what churches in Wisconsin are doing to stay on top of the bug. And as we go to break, check out tonight's lottery numbers.
Churches are altering masks to prevent the spread of germs.
It comes on the heels of one of the deadliest flu seasons in the U.S., this according to the CDC. Whether it's a coffee cup or a communion chalice, state health officials say they encourage everyone to use common sense, healthy hygiene practices, including not sharing cups. Church officials are following the same word of caution.
When individuals talk about the sharing of the cup, they themselves do not necessarily have to approach the cup.
Pastors say the common communion cup is not mandatory for Catholics, but it is up to the pastor to determine what's best for their churches.
Okay, good to know. In sports, the men's basketball team earns its 6th loss in the last 7 games.
Plus, some big high school hoops matchups tonight. One team will stand alone atop the Merriwood South. Alexis brings us those highlights next.
This is NewsLine 9 Sports.
There were some key high school hoops matchups tonight. We'll start off with the boys in the Merriwood South. Auburndale and Marathon going head-to-head. Both teams tied at 9-2. Top league standings. Apaches are going for their 6th straight win in Red Raiders territory. They trail by 2 in the first half. Hunter Siebert kicks it out to Carter Hankey, so let's make that a 5-point game with this 3. No problem, though. Auburndale will match that. Cooper Weinfurter hits the tray on the other end to cut into that lead. A few plays later, now the Apaches go up by 2. Hankey using that height and length to get the easy put in for the points in the paint. A close one until the final 20 seconds. Auburndale hangs on to win it 56-52. For the first place in the conference. Let's move over to the WBC. Wausau West hosting DC Everest Warriors, looking for just their 2nd conference play. It's a bounce pass. Mitch Michalski to David Bagby to get things going. Evergreen still driving, though. Brian Hallenbeck in his sweet spot. The 3 puts Everest up by 15. Evergreens hold on the road. A 62-43 final. They now improve to 8-7 on the season. Crowd stays put for the girls. Evergreens trying to remain unbeaten in conference play. West trying to surge after losing 2 of their last 3 matchups, playing without Katie Deaton. It's tied 9-9. Lexi Higgins attempts the bucket, no good. Everest keeps the ball alive, though, and Taylor Pettit will put this drive to good use with the open three-point jumper. Evergreen take the lead. Warriors don't fret, they've got their girl Maddie Shires. The tray puts West on top 15-14, but Everest keeps rolling and dominating in the paint now. Maureen goes on a nice little spree of her own, and it'll be a clean Evergreen sweep over at West. Girls win 55-34 and earn their 10th consecutive victory. It was a crushing defeat at the Kohl Center last night. UW led by 11 with under 10 minutes to play before falling apart on both ends. To put it in simple terms, the Badgers let off the gas and did not finish. They did, however, hold their opponent to 41% shooting for the game, but the Cornhuskers connected on 24-28 from the charity line. Wisconsin is now just 10-13 on the season after dropping 6 of their last 7. You can see the frustration is mounting.
It's extremely frustrating just because, Wisconsin, we're used to winning, and that's what we try to do every time we step on the floor. That's what we expect to do. So when we have games like that where they don't necessarily go our ways, and it's not necessarily that we're getting beat, but it's that we're shooting ourselves in our foot, it's definitely frustrating.
I mean, in some games, it kind of looks like we're not always competing. Because even if, this is a winning program, even if you're going to lose a game, you got to make sure you're competing for a full 40 minutes. You can't be letting the team walk all over you, kind of like we let Nebraska do to us at the end of the game.
For the 9th straight season, the Badgers have at least one player in the Super Bowl. This season, they have 4, including 2 running backs, James White with New England and Corey Clement with the Eagles. These 2 did play together briefly at Wisconsin in 2013. Since then, White is playing for his 3rd Super Bowl wing in 4 seasons. Clement is coming off a successful rookie year as transitioning to the NFL has been full speed ahead.
And I think it's make this experience that much better. And, once I get a chance to reflect on my rookie season, I think that I haven't left anything out there on the field.
You always got to play with confidence. Last year's last year. It's a what have you done for me lately league, so you got to always prove yourself. So each time I step on the field, I just try to make the most of the opportunity.
Thanks, Alexis. We'll be back with a final check of your forecast.
Plus, Green Bay is put to the test for their best football cities in America. How did it fare? Well, that's coming up. Finally tonight, Titletown tops the best football cities in the nation.
Was there ever doubt? It's the 2nd year in a row Green Bay took the cake. According to WalletHub.com, the site compared more than 240 U.S. cities with at least one college or professional team. Across 21 metrics, from average ticket prices to fan friendliness,